Hello everyone and welcome to my balcony garden. In today's video I'm going to be planting these Crocosmia corms into this pot. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's very easy. Crocosmia are these beautiful, low maintenance, long-lived herbaceous perennials. Actually, they can either be evergreen or deciduous. There's around 400 cultivars. They're very versatile. You can obviously grow them in pots. You can also grow them in mixed borders or larger containers. I have gone for the variety Lucifer, which is a very popular variety. And it's also one of the taller varieties. It's got this beautiful, vibrant red flower. It reaches around 80 centimetres. Now, ideally, I always go for shorter cultivars or dwarf cultivars of any kind of plant that I'm growing on my balcony because I don't have a lot of space. I just fell in love with the flowers, though, of the Crocosmia Lucifer. So I'm going to give it a go. I might actually have to end up supporting them, but I can deal with that when it comes to it. You can plant Crocosmia corms in spring up until around May. It is the middle of May, so I need to get my skates on. So I'm first going to check the corms for any pests and diseases. So I'm just squeezing them, making sure that they are firm to the touch. Can't see any signs of mold or anything. No, they're looking good. If your corms are kind of squishy or mushy at any point, just discard them. Crocosmia corms like to sit at around 7 to 10 centimetres deep in the soil. I'm using this terracotta pot for the corms. Terracotta is porous. It helps to keep the water in the pot moist but never saturated. Water or moisture is leached out of the sides. So it helps with any kind of bulb. You don't want your corms ever sitting for a long time in water because they're probably going to rot. I'm going to start by adding some broken crockery to the bottom of this pot. This pot also has a drainage hole. Broken crockery at the bottom helps with drainage. You can also use pebbles or stones. Next, I am adding a really good quality multi-purpose compost. And I'm firming down as I go. Sorry if you see any kind of old looking foliage. I've taken some soil that I had in my spring flowering pots and I've mixed it with some new multi-purpose compost. I didn't want to waste it and it was actually still good quality. So you might see some foliage. So just keep filling the pot until you reach the level of about 7 to 10 centimetres from the top. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. You can also mix in horticultural grit or sand. This is also going to help with drainage. I'm actually not going to do that this time. I think the crockery is enough. The terracotta pot is also obviously porous, as I mentioned before. And my balcony gets so hot in summer, so I want the pots to actually retain the moisture that is probably just going to be like leaching out of the sides. So I really don't want it to be more free draining than it needs to be. So now it's time to plant the corms. There is a bottom to the corm. This is the basal plate, and as you can see, this is where the roots have already come out of it, and this is where they will be emerging from. So that's the bottom there, and then this is the top here. This is the tip. This is where all the foliage and flowers are eventually going to emerge from. So we want to put this at the bottom and this at the top. So normally when it comes to planting my spring bulbs, I do tend to pack them in, but with these summer flowering bulbs, there's so much foliage attached to them normally, so I don't want to sort of smother them, I suppose, and also I want to enjoy the full form of the plant itself, so also the flowers, but the foliage too. So I'm going to be planting the first corm here. Make sure that it's a good distance from the inside of the pot. You don't want it touching at any time. And I'm going to be planting the next one probably at least 5 centimetres apart, and like that, just snuggle it in. Take another one. I think I'm going to put, I think 4 would be enough, to be honest, for this pot. I am being a bit careful. I don't want there to be too much competition within the pot. I think that's going to be enough. And now I am just going to fill the rest of the pot, priming gently down as I go. That is looking like perfection. So now we have planted up our Crocosmia corms. It's time now to give this pot a very, very big drink. I want the water to reach the corms. I also want the soil to stay nice and moist. Whenever I'm watering any pot for the first time, I make sure it has a really big drink. It means I'm not going to have to water as often, at least in the beginning. I'm also going to label it so I know what is in this pot. I'm going to make sure that the soil stays moist, but not too saturated, although to be honest, as I mentioned before, I don't think I'm going to have that problem. I think I'm going to have the problem of not enough watering than too much water. So I think I'm probably going to water this 2 to 3 times a week, but never let the soil dry out at any time. They love full sun, so I'm going to be placing this pot along with the lilies that I also just planted. Going to be placing them on the tiered shelves here on the right of the balcony. And when the foliage starts to emerge, I'm going to probably start feeding it with a high potassium fertilizer. I want to really support the growth of the plants, but also I really want those gorgeous flowers. And potassium helps with flowering. And if all goes well, I will be seeing my Crocosmia Lucifers from July onwards, hopefully until October. And I cannot wait. So that was how to plant Crocosmia corms into pots. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you would like to support the channel, subscribe. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and I send you all my good wishes, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.